And this next fight is a great prelim fight with Mokaev taking on Tim Elliott. And Mokaev is one of, if not the biggest prospect in MMA today. He's never lost. He's on a 33 fight winning streak if you go back to his amateur career. And he's still in pursuit of becoming the youngest champion in UFC history. The clock is ticking on that, but still has that as his goal. And he slowly built himself up. He beat some lower level guys. He did take out Cody Durden, which that win has aged really nicely. But he's getting a step up in competition for this fight. He's fighting the journeyman, the gatekeeper, Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott, he's a fighter who's been in the top 15 for nearly a decade. And if you aren't a top 5 fighter, top 10 fighter, Elliott's probably going to beat you. And Mokaev's going to have to be on his game to win this fight. I don't think it's an easy matchup whatsoever. But Mokaev, he is elite wrestling. He has excellent cardio, and his will to win is evident. He has an extremely fast double leg. His chain wrestling, his scrambling ability is phenomenal. He can wrestle hard all day. He's won his last 2 fights via third round submission after wearing his opponents out. On the feet, he's very fast, evasive, and has some nice kicks. He can throw kicks to all parts of the body. He has very fast kicks. He will sometimes come in with flying knees, and then when he sees the opening, level change and get the takedown too after kind of setting you up with some blitzing knees or blitzing kicks. And he has fast hands, but he isn't the best or most active with his hands. Defensively, I would say his striking defense is subpar, but his speed and wrestling make him difficult to hit. And when he can get on top, he has great ability to control and transition from position to position. He definitely needs to level up his ground and pound, and he can lose position sometimes, but his submission game is on point. Incredibly difficult to submit. I mean, we saw in his last fight with Jafel Filo, he got his leg mangled in that leg lock, but he didn't tap out. And that's something to think about. This is his first fight since that one, and it wasn't that long ago. He's really pushing it in terms of recovery and coming back this quickly. So hopefully he isn't coming in here kind of compromised, but it's a really good fight for Mokaev to get a gritty opponent who's going to push him. And if he can pass the Tim Elliott test, he's going to probably be ready to fight someone in the top 5. So Tim Elliott, he's fought the who's who, and he's no stranger to fighting the style of Mokaev. I mean, he's recently fought guys like Askar Askarov. He fought Tagir Ulanbekov, and he beat Tagir in his last fight against the Dagestani fighter. But Tim Elliott is a huge fighter for the weight class. His nickname epitomizes his style, too. He's an awkward guy. He's constantly moving on the feet. He switches stances, and he'll close the distance from weird angles, hold his hands completely down, and then he can take crazy punishment, too, and keep coming. So eat shots, talk to you, and kind of break your spirit. And he also has fairly good head movement. He parries punches well. And while he's looks there to be touched, he isn't as easy to be hit as it looks. And he'll throw some wild looping punches. He has some power, good pressure, good clinch knees, decent kicks. And in this fight, I think he's going to need to bring the pressure, try to nullify the kicks of Mokaev, watch out for the flying knee, and if he can make it a stand-up war, use his scrambling ability and kind of anti-wrestling to keep it standing or stay on top or in an advantageous position, then that's going to be his path to victory. And Tim Elliott's calling card has always been his wrestling. He'll get big slams when he can get to the clinch. He has a good double leg too. On top, he's very active with ground and pound. He has a good submission game. He can lose position sometimes, and he's been submitted a lot of his losses, but hasn't been submitted in quite a while. And cardio has been an issue in fights for Elliott in the past, but I do expect him to be motivated and great shape for this fight. And there's been a lot of trash talk during the build-up, so I think Elliott has nothing to lose, and I expect him to come out here and have some fun. One thing I am a little bit worried about is just with his age, him being a big guy, having to fly, halfway across the world to cut weight, he could potentially struggle with that. So if he has a bad weight cut, then we could maybe see those cardio issues come back. So that's something I want to see in terms of this fight is how both fighters, or really specifically how Tim Elliott looks on the scales. But Tim Elliott could definitely make this fight interesting if he could take the power of Mokaev and nullify the wrestling, and he could make it a really tough fight. But Elliott's gonna have more volume on the inside, and if he could pressure without being taken down, then I think it's going to be close. But Mokaev needs to believe in his hands in this one, let combos go. And if I'm Mokaev, I would have worked boxing this whole camp. When Tim Elliott comes in shape, he's a beast, though, and I think it's going to be a really fun back-and-forth fight with a ton of scrambles, some good striking moments from both guys. And if it goes to decision, I think it'll be fairly close, but I'm going to say Mokaev gets the win. And I wouldn't be shocked if Mokaev was able to catch a submission at some point either, but I will officially predict Mokaev wins in a close competitive decision that's a lot closer than the line actually indicates here.